So some really big news dropped yesterday that will affect all of college athletics moving forward. So the Division One cabinet has unanimously voted to approve the age-based eligibility model. What that means is that no longer will college athletes have 5 years to play 4 seasons, which has been the model for I guess as long as it's been around. Like the college athletics has been around to my knowledge, and that's been from NAIA all the way to Division One. You've always had 5 years to complete 4 seasons. That allowed you to take a regular red shirt, allowed you to take a medical red shirt. But now the new model will allow 5 seasons in 5 years. So now you have 5 years of eligibility across all of college athletics. Um, uh, the reason why they move forward with this, since COVID, during COVID, they allowed all these COVID waivers. Everyone who played or was in college during the 1920 season was given a free year of eligibility, and that opened the floodgates along with NIL for players like Trinidad Chambliss to sue the NCAA because he had tonsillitis while being a backup quarterback, and now he gets another year of eligibility with, probably getting $5 million from Ole Miss. Diego Pavia, all that stuff. So NCAA was done with all that, and for the first time in a long time, I think they made a really good decision and passed this. So the other important side of this, as you can see, it says the age-based eligibility model is just that. It's based on your age. For example, you've had guys coming over from Europe that are 23, 24, and they're coming in with 3 or 4 years of eligibility. This will correct that. So there are more details will come out, but essentially, anyone who turns 19, that's when I believe it's 19 the same year as their college starts. That's when their calendar begins. So, if you come into college at 20, you're not going to get 5 seasons to play. You're going to get 3 or 4. If you come into college at 23 or 24, you may only get 1 or 2 seasons. Um, there's another addition to this that kind of cleans up some of the G League players coming over, the guys from Europe. The whole idea is just to try to clean things up. I'm sure once all this goes through, the next thing they're going to work on is NIL as far as maybe caps and stuff like that. But that's kind of the gist of how this works. Now, how does that affect Louisville? All right, we're going back to this graphic. Shout out to Max Barr once again. How does this affect Louisville basketball? Well, for starters, we have 4 players slated to be seniors next year who now will have another year of eligibility. Jackson Shelstad, Alvaro Folgaris, London Johnson, and Deshane Montgomery. All 4 of those guys never took redshirt seasons in college, so they're all eligible for a 5th year. That's massive news, especially for like Shelstad, for example, who's a guy who was going to try to get a medical waiver anyway for his broken hand last season. But now we don't have to worry about fighting a waiver or hoping that it goes through. He's eligible. Another thing is guys like Woolley and Knox and Badunga, if they wanted to, they'll have the 2026-2027 season, and they'll have 2 more after if that's something that they want to pursue. Just having 5 years of eligibility is going to be really crazy in basketball. Football, guys need to mature. Guys don't necessarily come in ready to play. Basketball is a whole different story. It's going to break records. It's going to change the way teams are built. I'm really excited. But the 2 potentially negative sides of this, Isaac Ellis and Boyan Zong Boyan Jong, are both slated to be freshmen this year. Both of them will be 20 years old in January. They might not get 5 seasons. It's very possible they could only get 4. Um, that's not confirmed, but just looking at the way that the age-based eligibility is, it is possible that they might not get 5 seasons. All right, now on to football. And I know I haven't talked about football yet, but we're getting there. I'm a football junkie. I played football. Um, I love offensive line. I like breaking down offensive line. If I have the time, my plan when we get there, I want to weekly break down Louisville's offensive line. But regardless, as far as football goes, uh, the biggest player affected by this would be Clev Lubin. He's a guy who is a traditional senior. He's a 4-year senior. He would have another year of eligibility, as well as Cohen Ettinger, who's a safety transfer. He's going to be one of the best players on defense this year with Clev. He's from Iowa. Both of them will get an extra year of eligibility. And they're both kind of NFL guys. I think Clev definitely could be even a day two pick, but his measurables are a little iffy. So those are two guys to keep an eye on the football side who could be affected by this. And again, there's negative effects as well. So Kason Henry and Johnny Brown, both of them are offensive line transfers. They will be negatively affected because next year they were going to be eligible for medical waivers. And the way that this reads is that will not no longer be the case. They're going into their 5th years, and it'll be their final year. But we did something a little bit different here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, this video is made in partnership with the 1912 Society, and they're in the link in my Discord. Please give me a follow. I'm here. I'm on Twitter as well, or X, and I'm also on YouTube under the same name. So appreciate it.